Hey everyone, welcome to a new More Layers. I'm Seth Mariano.
And I'm Jordan Smith, and for this particular episode, we figured, you know what? Summer is right around the corner, like literally within the next week or so. So we figured we'd spend some of this time to really just discuss what we're going to be doing in the summer.
Yeah, the start of summer, I'm looking it up right now. Technically, it is this Friday, in fact. So we are, at the time we're recording this, 3 days away, literally. But so we're kind of on the cusp of it right now, but I can kind of already physically feel it, probably because I'm hauling a lot of stuff around for work. But it was pretty gray today, but I could kind of um, feel the heat, whatever. Still, regardless.
Up to this point, it's kind of been inconsistent, at least at first, where we would have some really warm summer-esque days and then it would cool right back down. It started to get more consistently warmer as of recent. Like it's been in the high 60s, the low 70s more often. Uh, yeah, like Seth said, we're only about 3 days away from the actual official start of summer. So hopefully it'll be more consistently warm, but not too warm, as well as not be too humid. Because I found that being hot and humid simultaneously is not fun.
Yeah, I feel like even the humidity is not fun by itself. I was recently down in Tennessee last week and was in a park in Nashville. It was I sweated pretty hard just being out there.
Yeah, I believe it. Thankfully, for Father's Day when we were outside, it was warm, but it wasn't like really sticky or humid or anything. So that helped a lot.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, there's always plenty of stuff, I'm sure, for many of you to look forward to. There's the Juneteenth, the 4th of July. Uh, some of you probably have a bunch of vacations coming up, but I pretty much just got back from mine, so I kind of was a little bit early to the party. But anyway, we've got a few specific things. One of them being the handful of social events going on throughout the summer, like one or two a month with our autism advocacy organization. If you've been following us for a while, Campaign D. We've got like an ice cream thing. We've got a Red Wings ball game. Red Wings is the local AAA ball team here. So
Yeah, we were supposed to have a meetup at an ice cream parlor called Lugia's already. Uh, it did end up getting rained out technically, and I say technically because by the time the event would have started, the rain had already stopped. But we weren't about to take that chance, and we ended up postponing it. Um, Lugia's is an ice cream parlor that we occasionally go to that I say gives you your money's worth because size-wise, there's a lot there. Like a baby is one scoop, kitty is two, small is three, medium's four, large is five. So I usually get mine in a dish just in case it really starts to melt. But
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to going there at some point with Campaign D because I've informed a bunch of them about this already. But ever since my father passed away, we had this tradition where every time we go to Lugia's, we got our order, but before we started eating it, we'd raise it up towards the sky as if to be like a here's to you or as if offering the first bite or whatever. And then that got extended to my mom when she passed away. So I told Campaign D about this, and I'm hoping if anyone wants to, we can get a group of people all doing it at once.
Yeah, comedian John Christ had this kind of line, you don't need to bless your dessert, but given the conditions in Jordan's family, I think it's fair game.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if I consider what we're doing blessing it anyways. It's more just like paying tribute or paying homage to someone who loved to go there when they were around.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, there's plenty of other ones, like the ones that Seth just listed, and we're looking forward to those as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and did you ever you know, if we're on the subject of Red Wings baseball, did you ever get a chance to like watch from like any of the luxury suites at the stadium?
I can't say that I have. I know I've been in seats that were close to them, but I don't think I've ever actually been in one of the suites.
Yeah, I've done a time or two. It's basically, just kind of a sort of luxurious indoor or kind of, a buffet, live TV feed. It's kind of nice. It's like you have your own little VIP patio enclosure, essentially.
That definitely does sound nice. The only downside I'd say there'd be to that is, at least for me, everyone has their own personal tastes. But it's like if the weather is really good
Yeah.
and it's not raining or anything like that, I personally would have a part of me that would love to be closer to the action.
Hmm.
But it would still be a good experience, I'm sure, and I'd love to do it at least once. But it's like, I could watch it on one of the TVs, but it's also right over there in person.
Yeah.
So, either one could be fun for sure, at least weather dependent.
Yeah. Well, anyway, as I mentioned before, Juneteenth, kind of celebrating the freedom from slavery, coming up in just 2 days from now. And actually, I'm getting the whole day off that day, as is pretty much everybody I work with. And that same evening, I'm going to be attending the Rochester Broadway Theater League, or RBTL, production of the Back to the Future musical.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Juneteenth has been around for a while, but only in recent years has it officially been declared a federal holiday, which means whenever that day rolls around, places like schools and banks, and I believe post offices are considered part of it as well, those are all closed down. So that's why people like Seth may be getting that day off. In terms of the Back to the Future musical, I wonder, like I've seen the Back to the Future movies,
Sure.
it does make me wonder how they would tell the story of 3 movies in one musical. Based on reception, it sounds like it's still really good. And I'm not saying it can't be done. There's just in the back of my mind, I'm trying to process how would they recreate, that's the word I'm looking for, recreate certain scenes or moments from the films.
Well, yeah, it's pretty tricky. I mean, like adaptations of like Shrek and Legally Blonde, I think have been done really well, where I feel like they actually brought more depth to the story than the original films did. At least for me, anyway. I mean, this will be my first time seeing the Back to the Future one. So I guess part of me is skeptical, but at the same time open to the possibility of it being really good, though.
And I'm sure it will be. If I have a chance at some point, then I'll try to check it out. But I just keep thinking, like, how will they do the time travel aspect? How they supposedly get the vehicle moving so fast that, it vanishes and goes through time. How are they going to do the hoverboard stuff, if they do that at all?
Right.
But it sounds like it's a lot of fun.
I mean, the movie series is pretty fun itself. I mean, I've seen it since I was a kid. I remember one of the most memorable Christmas gifts I ever got was, was the whole like Blu-ray box set of all 3 films that I gave to my brother, and he's got them in his house in Nashville right now, to this day. And I like the films. I have a particular admiration for Michael J. Fox as an actor. I was disappointed when I went to Universal. I didn't see much Back to the Future related stuff except that DeLorean license plate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What's your connection with the film series?
Well, I don't remember exactly what years they came out. Um, I'm pretty sure all three were released before I was born.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because I remember my parents telling me that they went to see at least one of the movies with one of their kids who was asleep during the run inside the movie theater. And if I had to guess, it was probably my brother.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I remember seeing them at some point, and for whatever reason, I was hooked on all the hoverboard stuff. That was really cool.
Sure.
Um, a scene that always stuck with me is when they were on these train tracks and they managed to get up to 88 miles per hour just before the end of the track came, and then a train that was behind them went over the side and into a ditch and blew up. Then, of course, there was an iconic line where Marty looks at him and he goes, "Where are you going, Doc? Back to the future?" He goes, "Nope, already been there."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a good film series anyway. I feel like, it's definitely motivated me to try this new musical out. It's so iconic and so memorable, and it definitely plays a pretty big part in my history, and so I'm looking forward to this.
That'll definitely be really fun. I wonder if they're going to have it take place in the same time period, or if they're going to try and put a modern spin on it. Because I know when this film came out, one of the things that they had supposedly seen in the future was that in a certain year, a baseball team would win the World Series. And a lot of people were really excited because they got to that year and they almost predicted it correctly. They were very close. If they had gotten it right, people probably would have went nuts for it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there is one other event that's coming up just this weekend, in fact. Traditionally, the way the theater program we're part of, Artists Unlimited, works, people generally, start out doing choral recitals with an event called Voices Unlimited, and to kind of get their foot in the door, so to speak, kind of get a dip in the water. And within usually a few years or so of that, can graduate to like the wait list for plays or something like that. And so we have some who perform in the shows with us every year, or who keep coming back and doing it again, and I'm planning on going and seeing them do that this Sunday.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it a couple times, and it's wonderful to see so many people involved in that, because, as you said, some of them are not in our normal stage productions, so they at least get to do something while they're on the wait list, and they get to meet a lot of the same people, work with a lot of the same directors. And it's a good way for us to meet them before we put on a show. So it's definitely a fun event. Hope to see some familiar faces, and I'm sure that in doing so, a lot of us will talk about the upcoming production, who we think is going to play what. And what's just so special about running into those guys on or off the stage is that it's pretty much always a good time. People are excited to see each other. They catch up. They talk like they just saw each other the other day. It's a huge family experience that you don't really get anywhere else.
One thing I might try to do if I I see your friends there. So, we've been predicting you might get this role. You think you might want to play it? Because, Joseph's coming up,
Yep.
Yeah.
That could definitely be a good one, because then we also have an idea of who they want to play and not just who they think is going to play certain characters.
Yeah. And so are you planning on on traveling? I've pretty much had my travels for the summer.
Yeah, as much traveling as I've already been doing. I do have some other traveling to do this year. Really, my traveling spree, as it were, really got going around the time my mom passed, and within about 2 months or so, I went to Florida twice. Once for the funeral, and then the second time was for Christmas, which I was planning to do anyway. Went and saw my brother at least once. I went to South Carolina last month for a wedding. And then one of the things I'm going to be doing next month for almost a week, but not entirely, is going to Ocean City. I really haven't been there before, but some people are saying it's a really beautiful place, and check out the beaches, which oddly enough people were saying about South Carolina as well. But I guess it's just a beautiful place to go. I'm looking forward to it. In the near future, I'm going to try and do some research to see what they have down there so we can kind of get an idea of what activities there are, what attractions there are. Maybe there's some rich history that we can learn about. And depending on where it is in relation with my sister, I might go visit her briefly while I'm down there.
Yeah.
And then the other trip I'm doing is an annual one that I've been doing ever since 2018, aside from the early 2020s for obvious reasons. And that is going to Virginia to see my brother, as well as to go to a convention that I've loved attending. Used to be called Super Smash Con, which is a convention centered around the game series Super Smash Brothers. They have a bunch of fun events, costume contests, talent shows. Well-known players or musicians are there. Some rich history based on Smash Brothers characters, what have you. There's just so much to do. And normally, I do participate in the competitions, or at least some of the tournaments. But this year I decided not to do that because I hadn't really practiced a whole lot ever since Mom passed away. But I still plan on going. I'm going to see my brother in the process. And it's something I look forward to every year.
Yeah. And I know you've competed in the past in Super Smash Con tournaments, that kind of thing.
Yep, I usually do, and just not doing it this year due to lack of practice. But I do plan on getting back into the swing of things, and then I'll come back stronger the following year.
Sure, yeah.
Then shortly after I come back from the trip to Ocean City, I'll be back here in New York, and then a large, popular YouTube channel by the name of Dude Perfect. The main five are going to be here in Rochester, and I will be able, because I got this special package, I'm going to be able to go in, see their show from one of the front rows, and then after it's all over, meet them face to face.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah, for those that are not aware, Dude Perfect it's a large organization. There's a lot of people behind the scenes helping put everything together. But it started with, and still consists of, a group of 5 guys. I believe they're all Christian, but I could be wrong. That became widely popular for their trick shot videos, and then they started to expand it onto other things as well, which also do really well. They have 61 point something million subscribers, so that is a big deal. And they just have so much energy, they have so much fun with what they do. So I am really excited to meet them and tell them how much their content has meant to me and my mom, because we used to watch them together, and I'm sure it'll be a wonderful experience.
So I guess you've got a pretty busy schedule ahead.
Yeah. And then on the subject of my mom, kind of.
Yeah.
I used to live in a village called Hilton. And as recently, another nearby village, Spencerport, they just had what's called a fireman's carnival. And it'll eventually come to Hilton. I think it's going to be in the second week, I think, second or third. Depending on when it is, I plan on going because it was something I grew up with. I love going every year. But there was also some traditions my parents and I established. Like we would always make sure to go and get an Italian sausage. If we felt up to it, we'd also get some fried dough. And there was one game my mom and I loved playing all the time, and I still go back and think of her when I do so. And it's called I Got It. It's kind of like bingo in a way, in the sense that you have to line up 5 of something. In this case, though, what you have are these little rubber balls, and you toss them into this little basket with a grid, and where they land is kind of hard to plan ahead of time. But once you have 5 in a row, then you can say, I got it, and you can get prizes depending on how many times you won.
So it's kind of like the Connect 4 game at Dave & Buster's with the basketballs.
It's similar, yeah. The only difference is there isn't anyone else tossing rubber balls into your grid. It's everyone playing individually. It's just a race to see who can line up 5 first. But yeah, it is very similar in style.
Yeah, that is cool. You thinking you might go to the New York State Fair this year?
When is it?
I think it's usually like late August, early September. I mean, there includes some weekends, which I think might be free. I think usually like early rehearsal weekends, I think, or early rehearsal weekends, I think, are usually pretty clear, but I don't know. I know that's something that I did last year and had a good time doing.
Well, if that's the case, then I do plan on going, because really, aside from probably one more flight down to Florida for the holidays at the end of the year, after I get back from my trip to Virginia in August, I probably won't be doing too much traveling in between. So that should be perfectly fine. But that's another thing I'm looking forward to that starts in summer, is the official beginning of our rehearsals for our production this year. And especially because in the first rehearsal or two is when they announce who's going to play what. And this year has a little special add-on, if you will, because for the longest time we have not had a rehearsal space or a stage to call our own. We usually have to borrow somebody else's space or stage. But this, over the past few months, they revealed that one of the rehearsal spaces we've been using a lot recently now officially belongs to us. So having our first rehearsal in that place when it's now officially ours, I think is really exciting.
I feel like it makes sense because, we've used the location that's going to be kind of our permanent home, and, I know how to get there without a map, but you can't really seem to find it on Google Maps by address, but so it's pretty much all but abandoned as it is. So I figure that's kind of an easy win-win.
It really is. It was formerly a dance studio that people would use, but we started using it for our rehearsals as well. Uh, and I guess it kind of makes sense that you can't always find it right away because it's in the middle of a plaza, albeit a small and not so well populated one. But now, hopefully, that we are using it frequently, we will be able to get that area back on the map, as it were.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, you could probably look up the address. I feel like you probably have more trouble finding the name.
Probably, although now it's officially ours, I wonder if the name has been or soon will be changed.
All right, guess only time will tell.
Yes. We'll know for sure by the time rehearsals start. And then the last thing I wrote down for what I'm looking forward to this summer, there's probably a few more things that we didn't think of. But the last thing I thought of was at the end of August, which is my birthday. It's not a big milestone year. That's going to be next year when that happens.
Sure.
But I always look forward to my birthday because I love meeting up with my friends and just having a blast with them. And of course, usually people are excited about their birthday because it's like another lap around the sun. Where have I, or rather, what have I accomplished over the last year? What do I hope to do over the next year? It's just a really exciting time. I will say this year will be a slightly more bittersweet experience because this will be the first birthday I've ever had without either of my parents. My mom, she always loved sending me cards or funny little messages, especially after she moved to Florida. And knowing that that's not going to be coming this year will definitely hurt. But at the same time, I'm sure it'll also be another reminder to me of how many people are there for me, supporting me, making sure I'm okay. And really, especially in situations like this, that's all I could ask for.
Yeah, I had a good time celebrating with a bunch of our friends last year. We kind of had dinner out at a like local pub and grill, and it was just good seeing like a bunch of familiar faces and just having a little nice little gourmet meal. It was a good time.
It really was, and I think we went to the same pub last month during the week of Mother's Day and my mom's birthday.
Yeah, it was 4 of us that time, and it was real nice day, nice little alfresco setup. And yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and we had wonderful service. The waitresses, they saw what was going on, and they gave me a little extra something just to show that they cared, which meant a lot.
Yeah, well, I guess that's all we've got to say about the coming summer, and y'all feel free to share with us what you're excited about for this summer and anything else at Seth_Mariano_AU on our YouTube, and stream us on Spotify, and feel free to talk.
Yeah, anything that you guys send us, we're happy to see or read or hear or what have you. If you have questions about any episode we've had thus far, let us know. If you have ideas for future episodes, we'd love to hear them. Any engagement is more than welcome, and for all you know, it could be featured in a future episode.
Well, until next time, everybody take care.
So long, everyone.